Sandy here, and we're playing Farming Simulator 17 on Sandy Bay on the RDAllen multiplayer server, and just myself on here at the moment. And we're kind of starting on the menu screen here. I've been asked a few times, how do you log in as admin on a multiplayer server? So for those of you that have multiplayer servers or dedicated servers, how do you actually log in as admin? Well, first off, you open up the menu, and then we just go backwards here a couple of times. And then under here, you see multiplayer admin, log in as admin. You just click on that, type in the password, and click start. And then you'll get a message that says successfully logged in as admin. And of course, once you're all logged in here, you can change all these options, whatnot, and whatever you want to change here. Okay, and with that, hopefully that helps anybody that was wondering how they log in as admin on a multiplayer game or, dedicated server, either one. And of course, once you're logged in, then you can access all, like I was mentioning, the admin controls, speed up time, slow down time, reset vehicles, buy stuff, hire workers, etc., etc. But anyway, this episode, we're going to be working on doing a little plowing here. We got the old-fashioned Kirovets here with the John Deere Ripper. And it looks like we got a GMC truck we need to move off the field here. Horsepower-wise, this tractor probably isn't technically big enough. I'm assuming this is probably still a 200 horsepower tractor. I haven't looked. This tractor's been around for like a long time here in this game. I'm sure most of you can probably remember that. Horsepower, how much do we have? 220 horsepower, it says. Any configurations? It does have twin wheels, and of course you can select the color. Yeah, twin wheels on this map probably would not be a really good choice. This is a nice, large, cheap tractor. Russian, I do believe. And like I said, it's been around for quite a long time. Anyway, just a reminder again, anybody that would like to join us on the multiplayer servers is welcome to do so. Information for joining can be found in the description of this video below. We currently have 2 multiplayer servers. Server 2 here is Sandy Bay. And then server 1 there as well. We switched over maps here a couple of days ago, so we got a new map there on server 1. And currently have 2 download links for each server. First download link should download all the mods needed to join the server. And the second download link will take you to the server download page where you can download the mods individually. Or you can also download them all from there as well. Just keep in mind when using the download all link, you will have to extract that zip file. And then put all those files into your mod folder. Oh, struggling just a little bit going uphill here. Didn't seem to mind going downhill so much. Like I said, horsepower-wise, this tractor's probably lacking a little bit. Though I'm guessing in real life, I'm pretty sure this tractor will be able to pull it. Like I said, horsepower-wise, it might be a little lacking, but weight-wise and overall tractor, I'm pretty sure it can do it. Sometimes it's not all about the horsepower. Sometimes it comes down to the weight of the tractor that matters more than the horsepower. Just to maybe make an example of that, let's see, do we have the tractors in here? Yes, we do. Let's take a 9R series tractor versus a 8R series tractor. You can get 9R and 8R with about the same horsepower. The 9R will always outpull the 8R due to the weight. And that's, one of the advantages of the articulated tractors like that. A heavy tractor. Mostly, good for a tillage type of work. Or anything else, where heavy pulling is required. And I don't recall right offhand again what the main purpose of this particular tractor was. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it was a Russian tractor, but I don't recall what they used this tractor for again. I don't know if it was necessarily a farming tractor. I think it was used mainly for more of a pulling tractor, if memory serves me correctly. Too bad looking on the inside either. Like I said, it looks like the mod author did a nice job when they converted this over. At least I'm assuming this is a conversion anyway. And for those of you who wonder what's a good time to get on the multiplayer server, if you're looking to play with me, I am typically on around 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, I'll let you do the calculations as to what time that is in your time zone. I mean, obviously, if you're Eastern Standard Time, then it's 7 o'clock. But other time zones, you can figure that out. Like I said, I'm on typically around 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I would say that's when most everybody else is on as well. Usually get towards later at night. That's probably why there hasn't been too many people on lately when I've been recording. We've been a little bit slow where I work lately, so I've been getting out early. Therefore, I'm recording a little bit earlier than I normally record. Normally I would record, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 3, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But lately I've been recording a little bit earlier. And more like around 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Pretty much been getting out of work around noon, give or take a little bit lately. Like I said, been pretty slow at work last couple of weeks here. Also, we have a TeamSpeak server as well. Seems like I keep forgetting to mention that all the time. Make sure you join us on TeamSpeak as well if you are joining us on the Farming Simulator multiplayer servers. Passwords for the Farming Simulator servers can be found in TeamSpeak when you join TeamSpeak. And again, TeamSpeak is a free voice chat client. For those of you who are familiar with Skype, very similar, except TeamSpeak is preferred for gaming as it is a much lighter weight client as far as system resources go. And I know we've kind of covered this before, but basically, TeamSpeak, like I said, lighter on the system resources. When you're playing games, you don't want a voice chat client that is using up all your resources for voice chatting, as opposed to, your game. And at least Skype, by the way, is not too good on the system resource side of things. TeamSpeak, by the way, is free for those you're wondering. And no, you do not have to have a mic to join TeamSpeak. I mean, obviously, if you want to talk back with us, yes, you'll have to have a mic. You can chat in TeamSpeak as well, or, of course, use the in-game chat. And like I've said before, we do have several people that join us on TeamSpeak that either don't have mics or don't want to talk on a mic. Okay, I think after this headline, maybe we'll start going up and down the field here. And like I said, we'll have to move that GMC truck there off. And we'll see what's about reading some comments here a moment. Which there might not be a whole lot of comments here yet. For some reason, it seemed like it took a while for the video from yesterday to upload. Okay, the comments. Samuel saying, awesome video. Thank you very much for that. And by the way, for the Hobbs Farm, for those you wondering, I did keep playing that a little bit more after I finished recording. I think we're up to like $1.5 million between the potatoes and the silage. So silage and potatoes on Hobbs Farm is doing really, really well at the moment. That noisy gamer was saying, why do you cultivate over plowing? I'm not sure if you mean why do I cultivate instead of plowing, or do you mean why do I cultivate after plowing? If you mean why do I cultivate after plowing, you always cultivate after plowing. After plowing, the ground is way too rough to be planted on, at least after most plows anyway. Let's see, is this the one? Yeah, I think after this particular ripper is an exception. Some of the newer John Deere rippers here are actually designed to be one pass. And when I say one pass, I mean they're designed to rip up the soil and then leave it level enough behind the ripper so that you can actually plant on it. Now, of course, in this game here, it just leaves the plow texture. But at least in real life, the idea behind this particular ripper, or at least some of the other rippers anyway, I know there's a couple different designs here. You can finish your field work in one single pass, as opposed to, say, chisel plow, and then going back over it with a field cultivator or some sort. But at least in real life, hopefully that answers your question. You always, or almost always, cultivate after plowing. Probably especially more even if you are using these style plows. Zoid was saying, let the money flow. I wish price of silage was worth that much in real life. I'm guessing you probably wish all the prices in the game were that good in real life. At least for potatoes anyway. If you can make that much money that easily in real life, I think everybody would be a farmer. Of course, then you probably wouldn't be making that much money if everybody was a farmer, but oh well. Hopefully you get the idea behind that. Okay, let's set up a GPS here a moment, and we're going to have to start with a straight line because it doesn't look like we have one. Like I said, the fields on this map aren't exactly straight. And that is definitely not the right width. 8.4, we'll go with that. We'll see how that works. Okay, why did that not lower? There we go. Matthew was saying, nothing runs like a deer. There's another part of the saying there you're missing as well. Nothing costs like a deer. Delcom was saying, I got a sneaking suspicion you're going to have to re-record that potato route again. That point is where you deleted your temporary course. Actually, I did not have to re-record the potato course again. It actually worked, so I don't know what was up with that kind of that weirdness there with the course. But it did work, which was good. I didn't have to re-record it again. And also, I haven't recorded another one yet either, for those of you wondering. The point where we are selling potatoes still has the best price yet. We're going to miss a little bit here. No, we're not. Okay, we're good. Perfect. Gaming Universe was saying, nice cooler master case. Rewind was saying, great work. Jeff was asking, what are the specs for your PC? Yes, for those who did not see it, I released a video there. Had some issues with my computer here the last couple of days. Started off by I did not want to turn on. So after fiddling around with it a little bit, I finally got it to turn on. Figured it was the power supply. I'm not 100% convinced it's the power supply yet, but I think it was. And then, yeah, the next couple of days there, the computer just randomly shut off. So yeah, since I've put the new power supply in, I've not had any issues yet. Been running 2.5 days on it now, I think, with the new power supply. And haven't had any issues, like I said, since I put it in. And by the way, I got a new EVGA 850-watt titanium power supply, by the way, for those of you wondering. But yes, Jeff was asking, what are the specs for the PC? So, right off the top of my head, I don't exactly remember the numbers on the CPU. It's an Intel Core i7, 6-core. I think it's 3.4 gigahertz or something like that, 3.2 gigahertz. I might be a little bit off there on the gigahertz numbers there, but it's an Intel Core i7 6-core. Got 32 gigabytes of RAM. Got a 512 gigabyte solid state hard drive. And for a GPU, I've got an EVGA GTX 980 Hydro Copper Edition. That is simply a liquid-cooled edition of the 980. And like I mentioned in the power supply video there, the power supply was... I said in the video it was the oldest component in my system, but when I thought about it afterwards, it actually is not the oldest component in my system. I actually have one older component, at least I think I have one older component, and that is my sound card. I believe the sound card is actually older than my power supply yet. And the old power supply, by the way, that was probably, I'm going to guess, 6 years old. May have been older than that. May have been 8 years old. Not entirely sure on that. It all depends when that the Ultra X4 power supply came out. I think when the Ultra X4 power supply came out, that's when I got it. Went for a modular one. I think before that I had a non-modular power supply. And of course with those 850 watt power supplies, you typically can get a lot of wiring with those. A lot of connections to an 850 watt. Which, by the way, with my system, if you use a power supply calculator, no, you do not need 850 watts. I think 500 watt is considered okay, and I think they recommend like a 600 watt minimum, or 600 watt would be the recommended size. Now, of course, I've gone just a little bit bigger than that, 850. Currently had an 850, so I went with another 850 watt power supply. It's pretty much just so I can, in the future, if I want to do something else, I always can. No need going for like a 1,000 watt or 1,200 watt power supply. That shouldn't be necessary. Scott was asking, how do you get the tractors to wait after unloading the combine in courseplay mode? I'm not sure what you mean by wait. Courseplay pretty much does what it wants to do in combine mode. I never really change anything with that. And obviously it does some derpy things at times, but... Okay, we're going to have to move that truck here a moment, aren't we? Zachary was asking, why is the video only available in 360p? Okay, so a little YouTube lesson here for you folks. When you first upload a video on YouTube, unless of course you do like scheduling and wait for it to be available, when you first upload the video on YouTube, it will only be available in standard definition 360p. So if you watch the video when it first comes out, that's what it's going to be available in. And of course, once you wait, I don't know what the what kind of time frame is on that, half hour or something maybe. And then YouTube will let you watch the high def version of it. So, just something to keep in mind whenever you're watching videos like that. If you watch it when it first comes out, you're probably only going to be able to watch it in 360p. So you actually might be better off, at least if you want to watch it in HD anyway. Wait. There we go. Wait a half hour or something, and then you can watch it in high definition. Jan was saying, good video. Thank you very much for that. Amazing Ren was saying, love your videos, and can you do a all crop header? Talking about chopping there, I believe. Yes, we'll see once if we can do some chopping here with the mowing head there. I know we got canola on that field. That's probably not a real good choice for chopping. Probably should have something like wheat or barley. That would probably be a much better choice for chopping. I'm not sure if I think it makes a difference in the game. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but canola and soybeans are not a good source for chopping, for making chaff. There's not as much material there with canola and soybeans. You're much better off chopping wheat or barley, as far as I know. Again, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on that. Also, another little YouTube lesson here. I got a couple comments here the last couple of days. Somebody was asking, wow, why so few views? And wow, I'm here before X number of views. For those of you wondering, I don't know what YouTube is doing in the back end, but it seems like the views on the YouTube videos as of late have gone way down. I mean, way down. Like I noticed yesterday, typically when I get home from work, usually I've got several hundred views on a video by then. But yesterday, I think it was like 200 views. I'm like, wow, that's not very good. What in the world's going on here? What I found out is I went to the real-time stats, and this is something you folks, I don't think you folks can see this, at least as far as I know anyway, but I went to the real-time stats for the video, and I had, I think it was at 1,200 views on the video. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube at the moment, so when you look at the views, it's like, wow, there's not very many views on that video. YouTube is not reporting those numbers correctly at the moment from the looks of it, so I don't know what's going on with that. I noticed that the last couple days, really scratching my head. It's like, boy, what's happening with the views on the video here? But then when I go to the real-time numbers, the numbers are where they typically are at. And like I said, as far as I know, I don't think that's something you folks can see. I'm guessing it's kind of something like with the real-time numbers for subscribers. The real-time numbers versus what YouTube shows is sometimes different. And it seems like the same thing is going on there with the videos now as well. I know it always used to be back in the day. Anybody remember this? I think it was the 300. Once you got to like the 300 plus view mark, there was like a pause there in the stats for the views. I don't remember seeing that now as of late. Seems like YouTube has fixed that little issue. So you no longer have the 300 view, kind of the stop point there for a while. John Deere 8100 was asking where's the GMC on the website. That is another mod I do not have a link for, unfortunately. Again, that mod came from the multiplayer server here. And like I've mentioned in the past, I am not the only one managing the mods here on the multiplayer server. So if I did not get the mod, I don't have a link for the mod. And the GMC there is one of the mods I did not get, so I don't have a link for it. The John Deere 8530, another mod I don't have a link for. Well, actually, I do now. I didn't before, but I do now. So for those who are wondering, the John Deere 8530 we have on the multiplayer server here, I do have a link for that in my mod list currently. And by the way, for those of you who wonder where I get the mods I have, at least the ones I have anyway, or I've gotten anyway, I do have a mod list in the description of this video below, so make sure you check that out. Also, for the person that was wondering the computer specs, I do have a kit link in the description below as well. You can check that out. That lists the actual components I have on my computer. And while we're talking about the description of this video, I might as well go over some other ones as well. We do have a Facebook page. Again, check that out in the description of this video below. Of course, the information for joining the multiplayer server, links for downloading TeamSpeak, all that good stuff. And by the way, for those of you who never used TeamSpeak before, you first need to download TeamSpeak. And like I said, there is a link for that in the description of this video, so make sure you check that out. You just need to download the TeamSpeak client. And then once you have the TeamSpeak client downloaded, you can add the information that is listed in the video there. We have a TeamSpeak server address, and then the password for the TeamSpeak server. So yeah, once you have the TeamSpeak client open, you just add that information under the bookmarks there, and you can join the multiplayer server, or the TeamSpeak server anyway, which will let you join the multiplayer server. Samuel's asking, with Big Bud, I hear there's going to be a 50-foot Great Plains seed drill. That would be pretty nice. And yeah, for those of you who have not heard about that, there's supposed to be a Big Bud DLC coming out. Not entirely sure what that's all going to include yet. I believe there's 2 tractors, I like to say, on that list, as well as supposedly some implements. We'll have to see what those implements are yet, but should be pretty promising. Should be some large implements as well, I would think. Definitely not going to be any small implements there with Big Bud. Anyway, just about have this field here done. And maybe we'll see what's about getting some wheat or barley or something like that planted on it. And also, I'm not exactly sure what happened to the money there either, for those who wonder why we got minus 14,000. Not sure. Someone must bought something, I'm assuming. Okay, one more. Probably a little bit more than one more yet, isn't it? Seems like it always takes a little bit of time here when you got that little triangle left on the field you got to finish. Like, what's the best way to go about finishing this as quickly as possible? Oh, we didn't make that turn. Okay, there we go. And the last little bit there. There we go. One completely plowed field. At least I think it's completely plowed anyway. Probably some, little missing spot somewhere. Speaking of missing spot, that reminds me, next time I plow, or somebody plows field 13, actually it'll probably have to be me or another admin. There's like a spot of grass in that field that needs to be plowed under. Need to turn the create field part on there. Have to do that, like I said, either next time. But anyway, with that, I think we'll wrap up the video here. If you folks have any comments or questions, be sure to leave them below. Just a reminder again, if you would like to join us on the multiplayer server, information is in the description below, as well as information for the TeamSpeak server. And as always, folks, thanks for watching, and till next time.